Big Sky Breakdown, as well as the Samuel Akem Show.
This is the one.
Another collab coming your way. Okay, we've been doing this. We were working on this for a little while. It been sort of going back and forth and racking our brains on this. And I decided, we kind of decided, hey, rather than like hashing it all out, let's just hash it out. Let's just hash it out while we're talking. So this is the top 25 players in the Big Sky Conference coming into the 2026 season. And this is a matter of our opinions, our analysis, and our breakdowns of a lot of these guys. Where do you want to start? Do you want to go in reverse order? Should we try to go like 25 through 1? Should we try to go from the top down?
I feel like we should do process of elimination, because I feel like if we go 25 to 1, we might miss some guys.
Totally.
And, you get to like 5 and you're like, oh, like I probably would have this guy, So let's go 1 all the way to 25.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so my number one guy, and I know that I think that several of the best quarterbacks in the United States of America are in the Big Sky Conference.
Yep.
I think that Titan Fleischman from Montana State is the best NFL prospect.
Yes.
In the Big Sky Conference.
But how are we categorizing the guys? College players, prospects, or?
Well, that's what I'm going to get at, is that I think, though, just that the most purely talented, most transcendent, like unforgettable guy in the Big Sky is Eli Gilman. I've covered the Big Sky now for 20 years.
Yep.
And there is truly nobody that compares to him. I'm not saying he's the best, but in terms of his combination of raw speed and raw power, there really isn't anybody. We've seen big backs like Jesse Chapman at Eastern Washington and Lex Hilliard at Montana, who are bigger and maybe more powerful than Eli. We've seen a couple guys, not very many, but a couple, like maybe Tywan Jones at Eastern, Elijah Dotson at Sac State, that are maybe a tad faster than Eli Gilman. But in terms of his power and speed combination, there's just nobody like him. And he also has the most uncommon story of any of the great Grizz superstars ever. He doesn't have the story of being an underdog or, having to overcome all this stuff. The day he walked onto campus, Justin Green was pacing up and down the sidelines waiting to get this guy in the game. Like,
that guy looks like an All-American.
The very first day of fall camp, I see Jay Green and I tap him. I'm like, "What's up with 10?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, that's the guy. That's the guy you're going to be watching scoring all the touchdowns for the next 5 years. So get used to it." So, I just think Gilman is a next level talent. It's actually crazy that he's been at Montana this whole time, that he stayed at Montana, and I hope Grizz fans have enjoyed it, because I just think that he's the type of talent that comes along. I'm not even going to say only comes along every so often. I think he comes along never. I've never seen a guy on the offensive side, at least, that's like him. His only comp I've really seen at Montana is Tremaine Johnson. This is the only other guy that I've seen that is like that it was just FBS all day long, but still somehow played in the FCS.
So you would put him at number 1?
I'll put him number 1.
I'm not gonna lie, Colter. You actually just convinced me, because I would have the 2 top quarterbacks above him. But when you think about the Offensive Player of the Year award, Colter, that is voted on by the coaches. Think about the All-Conference awards; those are voted on by the coaches. Who did the coaches vote the best offensive player in the conference after watching what Justin Lamson did and after watching what Kali Yaya did?
Yep, right, exactly.
They looked at Eli and said, "No, us as coaches, we believe this is the best." Now, maybe it wasn't a unanimous, because I don't think he was unanimous, but they don't tell us that. All we know is Eli Gilman got the most votes, and he ended up being Offensive Player of the Year. So enough coaches thought enough about Eli to say, no, this is the best offensive player in the conference. I agree with you. I like Eli Gilman at number 1.
What and the other part is that your head coach has to be the one that thinks that too.
Yep, absolutely.
So, basically Bobby Houck was saying, hey, this guy is our best offensive player. We got Kali Yaya, we got Michael Wortham. This guy is the one. I actually thought going into the voting that a Grizz guy wouldn't win it, because I just figured that all 3 of the Grizz guys would take votes from each other. I figured that first of all, I didn't know who Houck would nominate, but also I thought, like, well, maybe one coach would say, but maybe Sac State's coach, maybe Brendan Marion would say Wortham, because Wortham went bananas, against Sac State. And so I figured maybe it would be somebody from a different team, but it ended up being Gilman. So a nod of respect to
be real, there wasn't a lot of options. You got Lamson, you got the 3 Montana guys. Who else really could have got it last year, to be real?
Yeah, no, that's right. It's exactly right. For
Jordan
sure.
Fisher, maybe. Samuel Batu, maybe. Neither of them had better seasons than, So no. I like Eli Gilman at 1. I'm with that. So number 2, I strongly believe that quarterbacks should be very high on this list, because quarterbacks do a lot. Not only do quarterbacks do a lot and they have a lot asked of them, but also we have really good quarterbacks in the Big Sky Conference. I mean, anybody can look at the conference and say, Lamson and Ayat, the way they play the game, they are two of the top quarterbacks in the country. I have them as top 3 in the country. Whether you have Bo Brungard 1, 2, or 3, it does not matter to me. There's 3 clear-cut top quarterbacks in the country. It's Bo Brungard, it's Kali Ayat, and it's Justin Lamson. Who would you have number 2 given would you even have a quarterback at number 2, or who would you put at number 2? I would put Lamson at number 2, but where would you put who as your number 2?
Well, I really thought about Fleischman just because of not only the talent, but the story, like everything he's gone through, what he's been through to get back. I think if you were to I'm big on alpha dogs because there's difference between a leader and an alpha dog. I think that there's a lot of leaders on a team, and there's a lot of different types of leadership. There's guys that can lead vocally. There's guys that can lead by example. There's guys that are servant leaders or that are great friends. They can be there for you. There's glue guys. There's all that stuff. The best teams, though, have the alpha. Like the guy that it doesn't matter if he says a word. He's the guy that's walking out to the middle of the field during the coin toss. He's the guy that everybody's lining up behind when there's going to be a fight. And Fleischman is that guy. That said, I thought the way that Justin Lamson came alive and the way he grasped the offense for Montana State last year, and then the heater he went on between the Brawl 1.0 and the national championship game, I mean, it was as good of a streak as I've ever seen a quarterback have. He went from a very good player to he's a Bobcat legend after that.
Yeah.
People were literally talking at the bar if you would have asked people in the middle of October, where's Justin Lamson on the Mount Rushmore of Bobcat quarterbacks? People would have been like, get out of here.
Why are you even mentioning him in Mount Rushmore in the same sentence?
They would have been like, no. Travis Lulay and Paul Dennehy and Kelly Bradley and Tommy Malott and Demarius McGee and Dakota Prukop. Lamson wouldn't have even been in the top 6, 7, 8 guys. Well, now it's like, how do you leave him off? I mean, he's got a natty. He's the most outstanding player in the national championship game. It's interesting because Ayat was first team all conference and Lamson was second team all conference. And it's almost like when that came out, it motivated Lamson to take it to the next level. His speech at the national championship parade, it was nothing but receipts. I heard you when you said this. I heard everybody when they said this. Blah 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 blah. So I'm going Lamson. I just think that the fact that he's got the ring and the fact that he was the most outstanding player in the game, I think it's hard to rank anybody ahead of him.
Yeah, I like Lamson at 2 as well. And, for me, it's really Lamson and Ayat as my 2 and 3. And what gives Lamson the nod above Ayat for me is the head-to-head matchup. Now, obviously, they're not playing against each other, but you both had an opportunity on the same game to two different occasions to make something happen. And Lamson got the best of you both times. And honestly, probably looked a little cleaner both times. Lamson was the cleaner quarterback in the Brawl 1.0 in Missoula, and Lamson was the cleaner quarterback in the Brawl 2.0 in Bozeman. So, that matters to me. The interceptions are always the problem for me with Ayat when I look at his numbers, and 9 interceptions to Lamson's 3. Lamson's got the nod for me. So I would have Lamson at 2. If I'm skipping ahead to tell you who my number 3 is, my number 3 is Kali Ayat.
That's definitely fair. And I'm fine with ranking both those guys ahead of Fleischman. I also think Caden Dowler was another guy that I considered here in this top tier. And we'll get to both those guys in a minute because I think we're both going to agree that they're the next guys. But I think you have to rank Ayat there. Just because of the pure talent, man. Like I was watching him yesterday again, and he's going through some stuff. I know he had a knee injury last year, and they're being really careful with him. I think it's great that he has a coaching staff that wants to be careful with him. Because we don't. That
hasn't necessarily been the case.
We don't need a dog on in the past, but I don't know, man. You play with Patrick O'Connell, man. His ankle was messed up for 8 weeks, and they wouldn't let him ever take a break because the ankle injury is not real. We don't need to get into it.
Right.
But the point is, they are using kid gloves on Ayat at practice lately,
as they should.
But man, they did let him do some team stuff yesterday. Man, he spins that sucker, man.
Oh my gosh,
it looks so good. I can't wait to see Lamson because the last time I saw pictures of Lamson working out, he looks like he's bigger and stronger too. So that's the thing is these guys, we take for granted that they're still so young. These guys get way better. Even now, you can make another jump. Ayat just looks like more of a grown man to me. He put on 10 or 12 pounds.
Yep.
He's got a stronger arm, and I'm excited to see Lamson in person too because I think that's going to be the case with him too. But I'm totally fine with Ayat at number 3.
So number 4, you've been trying to push Fleischman. Is that where you're putting him at? I don't know. Here's my problem with Fleischman and the offensive line thing, Colter. I think Fleischman's phenomenal, but how do you truly judge how good an offensive lineman is my problem. Yeah, sure, they get voted all conference without playing the film and putting the film on here. How do we know whether he's top 5, top 10, top 15? How do we know?
Yeah, I mean, there's the intangible part of him just being the alpha for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also the part where, like, I'm also so high on Fleischman because he is a natural power tackle. Yeah. And out of sacrifice for what was best for the team and also to get their best 5 on the field, he played inside last year, which I think helps his NFL prospects big time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if he can teach himself how to snap, now he's going to go make a roster because he'll be able to play all 3 spots.
Yep.
And I still think he's going to have a chance to make a roster because I just think he's really, really talented. But how do you tell? Like, I also think that all linemen are not created equal, especially based on the scheme that you run.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Fleischman being back at power tackle is going to actually help us evaluate him better because they run so much mid-zone and outside zone, and you'll be able to see him. Like, that's going to be the isolation they're going to be running right off of him and the tight end constantly.
Yeah.
That's all to say, though, I don't think we should rank him number 4. I think we got to rank Caden Dowler number 4.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think?
I like Caden Dowler at 4. I think Caden Dowler is immensely talented. He had a phenomenal season last year. If you get too far down on this list, especially talking strictly Big Sky players, I mean, you can't get too far. I mean, the impact that Caden Dowler had on the game last year, what do you have? 6 interceptions, 4 PBUs, 2 forced fumbles. What did he have? Like 2 or 3 pick sixes? I know of for sure 2 pick sixes, one in the brawl and one against UC Davis. I mean, the dude is just a ball hawk. He knows what to do. He knows when to do it. He's also heavy in the box. I don't know. He's a consensus first-team All-American. He's the guy, man. So I like Caden Dowler at number 4. I like him at number 4. I don't really have to say too much more.
At the Big Sky kickoff, you and I were talking with I'll leave their names out, but we were talking with a couple of the coaches that are some of the best offensive coaches in the league, and we were talking about Dowler and what made him the defensive player of the year. And both these coaches were talking about how they had it in their game plan to directly exploit this guy, to try to get his head on a swivel and make him spin. And they did all these different motions and all these different things to bait him,
Couldn't shake him.
And then try to take the shot. And when they take the shot, he would just flip his coverage in the middle of the play or like right before the play, and he would win the chess match, and boom, he'd make the play on the ball or he'd get the pick. That's the thing. Like, Brent Vigen said that last year. He got asked a question. He said, "Why, what's up with Caden Dowler, like, always being in the right place at the right time?" Like, the implication was he's just lucky. And like Vigen said, if you are the guy that's just in the right place at the right time every single week, maybe you just know what you're doing. Like,
maybe you just watch film. Maybe you just understand what the opposition is trying to get done.
Totally. And then I think the other thing that is just such a nod to Dowler is that I think to a man, everybody on their team, if you were to say who's the best player on your team, they would all say Caden Dowler.
Yeah.
And absolutely. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
You got to put some credence in that.
Got to absolutely put some credence in that, and that does hold weight. He's number 4 for me. I'm standing strong. I'm standing strong with that.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
We can't allow them to find any hope. No hope. Make it mean something, fellas. Now is the time. This is the place. Any team, anywhere, anytime.
Y'all take the fight to him.
It's going to be picked off. Taken.
Take 1 week. Number 6.
I think when we start to get past Dowler, I don't know, it gets a little murky for me. I think there's a lot of ways we could go with this after the Dowler, because I think there's some obvious players like just like I mentioned with Bo Brungard, Justin Lamson, Kali Ayat, those are your top 3 guys. Wherever you want to put them in the top 3 in the country, I don't really care. It's all a matter of opinion, but those are the top 3 guys in my opinion. Same with the Big Sky Conference. Lamson, Ayat, Gilman, and Dowler are your top 4 guys in the conference. Right. Really, wherever you want to put them, I'm not going to argue too much with you. It's a matter of opinion. But after that is really where the difficulty comes. Who would you have at number 5?
Well, this is just me being biased as a lineman, but I think we have to have a lineman of some sort, offensive or defensive lineman, somewhere in that top 5 or 6.
Fleischman.
And so then I think it has to be Fleischman because I think he's the best offensive lineman in the league. I think there's several really good offensive linemen in the league. I think that there's very few proven defensive linemen in the league. This is going to be a defensive line thin list. Man. I'm actually going to write a feature about that sometime in the next month or so about how, I can't remember the last time that the Buck Buchanan Award watch list came out and it didn't have a defensive lineman from the Big Sky Conference on it.
Yeah.
There's always been a Tyrone Holmes or a Caleb Kidder or all the various Montana State guys, whether it's Paul Broad or Kenneth Iden or, Daniel Hardy, Caleb Schreibice, Brad Daly, Zach Mitcher. All these different guys that the Cats and the Grizz have had. But also then there was all those great guys at Sac State when Craig Paulson was there. George Obina was a great player. And they had several guys that were, Buck Buchanan, reputable. But then also Weber. Weber had a whole string of NFL offensive or defensive linemen, that were all Buck Buchanan type of guys too. This year, that's not the case. So I think with this list is going to be a little thin on defensive linemen. I think there are a couple offensive linemen that are worth noting, but I think that you got to go with Fleischman just because I think that he's got the best position versatility. He's got the best frame. He's got the best resume. And I think you just have to have a lineman somewhere in your top 5.
I'm not going to fight you on that. I like that pick. Everything you've said about Fleischman is valid. My main question always with linemen is just how do you judge the impact? How do you judge how good they are? Obviously, we know how good Fleischman is, but, is he better than a Caden Dowler? Is he better than an Eli Gilman? And one thing I think about as well is not just skill and your NFL prospects and things like that, but impact. What is your impact? The Justin Lamson, Ayat, Gilman, Dowler impact on a game is very, very clear, very, very evident, and very, very obvious. When you turn on the film, their impact jumps out at you. Fleischman, you got to kind of look for. You got to kind of be paying attention to the offensive line. So where number 6 is next. I think there's a lot of ways we could go with number 6. You got Mikey D'Amato. You got Peyton Wing. You also have Taco Dowler, who's still up there. Samuel Batu, who's up there. Who do you value more? Adam Jones is still on the board. Rex Connors, who did not play last year, but we all know what his impact is. How far do you let him slide? Cole Taylor is there as well. How do you like him? Striker Rashid, another offensive lineman. I don't know if we go that high with another offensive lineman, but he certainly is there as well. And then you start to look at a Braden Zimmer. You got a Kenny Olsen. I think we have to start bringing up Mikey D'Amato. Obviously, a unanimous all-conference, first-team all-conference linebacker. He's there. I think Taco Dowler needs to start getting his name in this conversation as well. Samuel Batu as well. But who do you like at 6? Adam Jones as well is somebody who we need to start speaking of as well. But who do you like at number 6?
First of all, thanks to our friends at Jewelry Design Center for the continued support of what we got going on here at the Big Sky Breakdown, as well as the Samuel Akem Show as well. Jewelry Design Center, located on Brook Street in Missoula. They also have locations in Spokane and Tri-Cities. They can make anything and everything your heart possibly could desire, anything you can dream up. They can custom make it for you. Jewelry Design Center wants to be your jeweler for life. Okay, so I think we have to go outside of the state of Montana because I think if we're going to – a guy that's the 6th best player in the league, you're saying basically –
I didn't even realize that.
You're basically going to say the 4th best guy on the Cats is the 6th best player in the conference. The Cats are stacked, but I do think that there's some guys – so I guess when I'm looking at some of these individually talented guys that maybe aren't on that good of teams, the number one way to sort of gauge this is who would he start over or who would start over him. And I think that the 3 guys that are from outside of the state of Montana, actually I think there's 4 guys from outside of the state of Montana that would start on every team in the conference. I think that's Mikey D'Amato. Mm-hmm. I think it's Jalen Jenkins from Eastern Washington.
Yes.
I think Rex Connors from UC Davis.
Yes.
And I think Samuel Batu from UC Davis.
Absolutely.
So I think those 4 guys have to be in the mix for our next 4 to 6 players. I'm
going to go with, and you can disagree if you want, and you can let me know your thoughts. I'm going to go with the unanimous all Big Sky pick in Mikey D'Amato. And I think I've been calling him D'Amato understanding that his uncle or his great-grandfather is Customato, we can now say Mikey D'Amato, not Mike.
Yes.
I've been saying D'Amato, and he's never corrected me, but Mikey D'Amato. But I like Mikey D'Amato at where are we at, 7? Where would that be, 7?
That'd be at 6. At 6.
I like Mikey D'Amato at 6. What do you think about that?
I can't go against it because he reminds me of a lot of the old school Big Sky linebackers where like he's so visibly aggressive and physical that it pops, it just explodes off the film or it just explodes off the TV screen when you watch him.
Yep.
Like he's got some shit to him. He talks shit. He's mean. Like even when I watched him live a couple times and Cal probably lost those games. But like there was no doubt like who the dude was. Like this dude is just a dude. He is.
Oh, is that number 44 again? Yep, on the tackle.
He must have had 1 million tackles in Missoula last year, man. We were like going through the. We were like 44 on another one, 44 on another one. I mean, he is a ball hawk. I mean, we interviewed him. That interview's also live on our channels.
Yep. He's
not that big of a guy. I mean, he's a broad guy, but he's not that tall. But I think that's another sort of feather in his cap for just how hard he plays and how productive he can be. So I mean. I like it. I think that he would, if you were to make like a team of the starting players from across the Big Sky Conference, I think he's your Mike linebacker. I think he's the guy that you would have as your starter. And I think it's hard to rank anybody ahead of him as a defensive guy.
Absolutely. So we got him at 6. You mentioned Rex Connors. You mentioned
I would lobby hard for Rex Connors to be next because I think he's as decorated as anybody. I think what happened to him last year is really unfortunate. We wouldn't be. I don't think we would be talking about him right now on the show if what happened last year didn't happen because he would just be playing in the NFL instead of, For those that don't know, they ran a 2-point conversion against Weber State and they put him at Wildcat quarterback and he somehow suffered a freak. I mean, it's just the worst story, man. Like you put your defensive player of the year candidate as a Wildcat quarterback in a game that you're probably going to win, and then like.
He's out for the season.
it was like last year in the semifinals of the Class AA playoffs when Big Sky and Billings West was playing, and West had like a 3rd and 2, and they ran Wildcat with Moose Ludwig, but then they had him throw it, and he threw a pick, and you're like, why are you doing that? It's the same thing with Rex Connors. Like, why are you doing this? Don't put this guy in the game. Why is he doing
this
that?
This guy leads the conference in tackles, and you want him to run the ball on Wildcat.
Regardless, though, I think that from a mental standpoint, I think he's as good as anybody in the conference.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's going to be really hungry to prove that he's back in a big way. And I think, Caden Dowler is the reigning defensive player of the year, had to be the preseason one coming in this year. But if it wasn't for the fact that Dowler won it last year, I probably would have voted Rex Connors as my preseason defensive player of the year.
Yeah, fair. Very, very fair, man. You are getting no argument from me on that. So keeping along with the outside of Montana train, we got Samuel Batu who's staring at us. And, Tim Plow knows how to use him. He uses him a lot. He's going to be a very integral piece in that offense. And already we've seen his impact. And he's a player who's gotten better and better and better as the years have gone on. Yeah. Do you like him next? There was another player you mentioned?
Rank these 3 guys because I do think that it's one of those offensive skill guys that's next. But rank these 3 guys. Taco Dowler, Adam Jones, Samuel Batu. Are you taking Batu over either of those Montana State guys? That's the question.
As a receiver, I would take Batu over Dowler. As an all-around player, I don't know, man, because you can do so much with Dowler as a special teams player, as a returner, as well as, you can do some things in the jet sweep. But Dowler also, Batu also gets used as a motion man as well. With Adam Jones, it's tough because if you look at Adam Jones' yards per carry, it's literally identical to Eli Gilman. He just doesn't get as many carries as Eli Gilman. Had he got as many carries as Eli Gilman, he would also be a 1,500-yard running back, and he's better out of the backfield, in my opinion, has better hands and runs a little bit better routes. Man, ranking those 3, I'm not going to lie to you. You may disagree with this. I'm going to put Batu above Dowler and Jones, but I don't think it's they're not far apart at all. They're not very far apart, but I would have Batu.
So I'm taking Dowler because I think he impacts the game in more ways. I also think that the clutch gene is real, and he's got the clutch gene. I mean, he has made game-winning plays for Montana State for years. I mean, he has had game-winning type of plays for years now.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Pete Sturbeck, Montana State offensive coordinator, about this, and he, I said, hey, we're going to be doing this list, and like, what do you think? And he said, I'm just going to tell you this. I write at the top of my play sheet on the very top, get Taco Dowler the ball.
That's obvious when you turn on the film. I've watched the film all off season. You can tell he's trying to figure out a way to get Taco Dowler some matchups.
He doesn't say get Justin Lamson the ball. He doesn't say get Adam Jones the ball. He says get Taco Dowler the ball. So
I'm with you there, man. I like Dowler at 8. I can agree with that, man. The impact he's made on wins is inexcusable. You can't look past it.
And the fact that he's one of the faces of the state of Montana.
Mm-hmm.
He's a leader. You and I talked with him extensively about how he used to not like the spotlight.
The media, yeah.
And now he's into it because he understands it's a great platform.
Absolutely.
He's got his foundation now. He's giving back to kids. He's using it in a really cool way. And I know a lot of people maybe want to be envious of him, this guy's making all this money. He's got taco seasoning, whatever. He's also he's providing community service, and he's an idol to young kids. And I think he's doing it in the right way. So, but I'm totally cool with having Batu next because I think that's a great place to slot him, and he's just been such a steady presence for UC Davis for these last couple of years.
Absolutely. So we got Batu at 9, leaving Adam Jones at 10. Are we agreeing with that?
Man, it's either Adam Jones or Jalen Jenkins. I just think Jenkins' individual talent is so obvious. When I was in Bozeman watching the conference opener between the Cats and Eastern Washington, I was like, first of all, how did Eastern become so bad on defense? This is crazy. But also, who is 31 and why is he there? I just kept watching. I'm like, that guy looks like a safety from Oregon. He does not look like a safety from Eastern Washington. His talent is just so obvious, and he's got so much swagger.
I can get behind that.
But then on the other hand, it's Jones has scored 30 touchdowns the last 2 years. He's as diverse of a guy as there is in all of the FCS.
Here's the real question. Could Jalen Jenkins because Jalen Jenkins is a safety, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Could Jalen Jenkins do what Cam Chappa, Alex McLaughlin, Caden Dowler, Rex Connors, could he do what they did in a situation like them? He's obviously at Eastern where they're not good. But if he was at Montana State or if he was at UC Davis, if he was at NAU, could he do what all of those players have done?
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
What you been doing, bro? Thinking about football. What you been doing? Thinking about football. Bro, that's sick. What'd you do to get on the wall? Bro, what did you do to get on the wall? But the press box told me if I left, they would take me off the wall. But the press box treats like royalty. We would never leave.
If you need a place to hang out before, during, or after Grizz football games, swing on by the Press Box. Press Box is the official headquarters of Grizz Athletics. For full coverage of all things Grizz, all football season long, keep it tuned to SkylineSportsMT.com. Yeah, he also would just have he just have more exposure. So then it would inherently just elevate his profile too.
I'm going to defer to you. I'm going to defer to you on this pick because I think both are fitting of a top. Because this is top 10. We're at number 10 now. So you know who's truly a top 10 player in the conference. I'm going to defer to you because I think they're both fitting. I think we're splitting hairs here, but I'm going to give you the nod.
I think you got to go with Jones just because I think he impacts the game so much.
Absolutely.
I think that other teams are game planning more to stop Adam Jones than they are to locate 31 on defense.
Yes, I would agree. Absolutely. And to go back to the Taco Dowler point you made, because you did swing me on that because I was Batu, but the impact and the effect in wins, how do they affect winning? Taco Dowler affects winning more than Samuel Batu, which gives him the nod. The same thing I would say about Ayat and Lamson. Both are phenomenal winners. Lamson affects winning more than Ayat does. That's why I gave Lamson the nod. So same way here. I like Adam Jones at 10, which locks in our top 10, man. And I don't know. Once we publicize this, people may have some arguments, may some debates. Let's go through it real quick. At number 1, we have Eli Gilman. At number 2, we have Justin Lamson. At number 3, we have Kali Ayat. At number 4, we got Caden Dowler. At number 5, we got Titan Fleischman locking in an all-Montana top 5. At number 6, we got Mikey D'Amato. At number 7, we got Rex Connors. At 8, we got Taco Dowler. At 9, we got Samuel Batu. And at 10, we got Adam Jones. There's still a lot of Montana in that top 10. There's literally only 2 players not from Montana in the top 10. 3 players.
Here's the thing. I know that there might be some pushback on this. I know the vast majority of our audience is people that are either in Montana or follow the Montana schools or both. But I'm sure there will be other people that watch this and there'll be some pushback like, oh, these guys are just Montana State guys. They're biased. Well, whatever. Here's the deal.
We got a list of all the best players in the conference in front of us.
And there's only a few of these guys that are on this list that would start. Like, that's my deal is, would you start for the Cats?
Yeah.
Like, if you would start for the Cats, you deserve to be in the conversation as a top 15 guy. Would you start for the Grizz? Like, you know, if the answer is yes, then you can be there. But there's just a lot of guys. Like, this is actually sad that this is the state of the league, but there are several teams in the league that not one of their players their best player would not start for the Cats or the Grizz.
To be real, nobody at Portland State or Utah Tech would start anywhere at Montana State, or even UC Davis.
That's right. And Idaho is a total mystery. Idaho is a total mystery to me because they have so many transfers. But if you look at their best players,
Joshua
I actually think Leighton Vining, their center, might start through the Cats and the Grizz.
Yeah.
But Josh Wood's their best player. But he's not starting for the Cats or the Grizz.
No.
So that just inherently knocks him out of the top 10, even though I think he's definitely going to be a guy that's coming up here on this list. A Big Sky Breakdown, as well as the Samuel Akem Show, proudly presented in part by Town Pump. Town Pump in Montana and only in Montana. They have been Montana's best for more than 6 decades. They'll keep us fueled up all football season long. Appreciate Town Pump for the continued support of what we got going on here at Skyline Sports. Okay, so then are we cool with slating Jenkins then is right outside the top 10 just because of his talent? Okay, so we already gave our 2 cents on him. You and I sat down with Isaiah Perez from Eastern Washington, and our number one question for him was, why did you stay?
Why
you're an
all-conference
guy for a defense that lost everything, including your coaching staff, so why did you stay?
Yeah.
Well, he was like, well, I'm married and I have 3 children, and that's why I'm here. I would love to know the answer from Jalen Jenkins because I'm sure he had multiple offers and sort of wild that he stayed.
Yeah, and I think he's also a Seattle guy, if I'm not mistaken, or he's from that area because I think Keenan has connections with him. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of talking early on in the season about, hey, that could be a guy that, in the offseason, Montana could go.
Oh, man. have you seen we're up in the press box. We don't get to see the crowd that much, but did you see the sign guy? There's a guy that's a sign guy.
Yeah, every week.
Every week he brings a new sign. He sits. I can't remember his name. I met him. He's friends with the Grizz Fan Podcast guys. But he makes a new sign every week, and he sits on the right behind the visitors bench.
Mm-hmm.
And his sign when Eastern Washington was in town was a Photoshop of Jalen Jenkins in a Grizz jersey.
That is great.
That's pretty funny, man.
That is great right there.
So next, I think that I think there's 4 other quarterbacks that are worth consideration here.
Yeah.
So I think that what we have to do first is rank those guys and then figure out where they fit in sort of within the rest of this. So certainly Josh Wood from Idaho, Jordan Cook from Idaho State, and Ty Pennington from Northern Arizona. Those 3 guys, all 3 of those guys are going to land somewhere in this top 25.
Yeah.
How would you rank those 3 guys to sort of give us a quarterback hierarchy, and then we can sort of pick quarterbacks as then they come up on the list?
I would go Ty Pennington, Jordan Cook, Joshua Wood, if I'm ranking those 3 guys.
Ty Pennington, Jordan Cook, Joshua Wood. Yeah.
From a talent perspective, Jordan Cook obviously is the best. But from a talent plus numbers perspective, Ty Pennington's the best out of all 3 of them.
I agree with that. And I also think that if Josh Wood can fix a few things and also get some help, he could be the guy that's the best out of these 3 guys by the end.
He could be number 3 in the conference, behind
because he's talented, man. He's really talented.
Oh yeah.
Last year they put so much on him. I mean, here's the point blank. If you are Idaho and you're running that offensive system, Josh Wood cannot be your leading rusher.
Yes.
That is just it. If he rushes for 500 yards, that's fine. But you got to have somebody else that rushes for another 800 or something. You cannot have him be your leading rusher. If he's your leading rusher, you are not running the ball effectively, and that's going to have a trickle down effect that's going to get this poor guy killed.
Yep.
So And he missed a couple games last year with injury because of that.
Absolutely. So does that mean you like Pennington at 12? Or because there's still a Peyton Wing on the board, there's still a Jack Zybal, the center from Northern Colorado, on the board. There's still a why am I blanking on his name? The running back from UC Davis, Jordan Fisher, is still on the board as well.
Somewhere. I think our next guy has to be out of this following group. I think it has to be either Peyton Wing from Montana, Winston Williams from UC Davis, because he's a first-team All-American. I mean, he's arguably the best tight end in the country.
Yeah, fair.
And they love their tight ends. Zach Cruz from Montana State, Braden Zimmer from Montana State. I think that's our next tier.
Who was the guy you said after Peyton Wing? Remind me again.
Winston Williams from UC Davis. I would be prone to put him next, just because I think if you're one of the best guys. I mean, he was a first-team All-American a year ago. He's a preseason first-team All-American this year. I mean, Tim Plow loves his tight ends. Like, they've had an all-conference tight end year in and year out. They love throwing to the tight end.
No, I like that. I'm not mad at that pick. I like that. But given that, I would definitely put Peyton Wing next. Peyton Wing, you mentioned how Winston Williams is an all-conference guy, All-American, first-team All-American. But Peyton Wing is also a first-team All-Conference guy. I was also, he was good at Portland State. He came to Montana and did the exact same thing he did at Portland State. He just did it for a winning squad. I certainly like Peyton Wing. I mean, I just don't think you can get too much further down on this list without putting – I mean, because the question now becomes, how many defenders do we have on the board right now? We got Rex Connors, we got Mikey D'Amato, we got Caden Dowler. How many more defensive players?
Jalen Jenkins.
And Jalen Jenkins.
Yeah, I think Wing right there is great.
How many more defensive players are better than him in the conference?
No, it's true. And you and I have talked about, like, because last year Wing was such a big splash player, but he also had moments of looking undisciplined.
Yes.
But I think a huge part of that was because the system that he was playing in almost requires you to be undisciplined.
Yep.
Like, they're just saying, just play with their hair on fire, go crazy, kick somebody's ass, like, just go nuts. I think actually playing in a more structured system is going to help him, because he's actually going to have rules, and I think he's a smart player.
You know, one edge I would give Peyton Wing over D'Amato? I think Peyton Wing is actually a better, like, he's better in coverage than I would say Mikey D'Amato is. But Mikey D'Amato is better against the run than anybody in the conference.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, Wing's really good. I was talking to Wing after practice on Monday, and this is crazy. He has had to learn 6 defensive systems the last 6 years.
What?
Because they had a new defensive system his last year of high school, and then at Portland State they had a new DC every year for 3 years, and then he had to come learn the 3-3-5, and now he's had to learn Eric Sanders' defense.
Wow, that's tough.
That's tough, but that's going to help him. That's going to help him at the next level, though.
Another player I think is sliding who deserves some attention, Cole Taylor.
Yeah, Cole Taylor.
Pennington, we got a lot of names now that are starting to get a little thick in here.
I think we got to go Pennington here.
Yes,
because I do think I think if you are one of the 3 all-conference quarterbacks in the Big Sky, I think that means you're one of the 5 or 6 best quarterbacks in the country.
Yes,
where we're at, and I think that NAU's playoff hopes are like attached at the hip to Ty Pennington.
Oh, absolutely,
for sure. So Pennington in at 14.
Yes.
And then the next is between, it's one of the Montana State guys, right? I think it's either Zach Cruz, Braden Zimmer, or Cole Taylor. I think Cole Taylor had the best year out of those guys last year.
I was going to say Cole.
But I think that Braden Zimmer is going to be the number 1 portal player in the country this next year.
But here's the real question. Are we basing this off potential and trajectory, or are we basing it off impact and talent that we saw last year and we can judge them on? I think if we're judging it on, based on what we've seen, I think Cole Taylor's the obvious next pick, in my opinion.
Well, and if you were to just talk about what was the most recent performance, I mean, this got overshadowed because of the craziness of the game in Nashville and because of the way it ended with Justin Lamson hitting Taco Dowler for the game-winning touchdown, plus the blocked field goals and all these different things. Everybody was talking about the overtime, the blocked field goals, all the mistakes, Dane Steele's touchdown. Far down the list was the fact that Cole Taylor actually played the best game of his entire career in the national championship game. But nobody was talking about it because of the way that the whole thing went down. So in terms of his last performance was his best performance.
What have you done for me lately?
I think that bodes really, really well coming in. I'm a huge Cole Taylor stan. There's been very few times in my career where a guy has come off the bench in sort of reserve duty. And I'm like, what the
why is he on the bench?
What The same thing happened in I remember this in like 2011 or it was 2012. The Cats were playing Sam Houston State in Bozeman, and Jody Owens, who was the reigning Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year, he tweaked his hamstring, and they put in this freshman. The dude had 3 straight tackles for loss against Sam Houston State's old school spread option.
Wow.
Well, that guy became Alex Singleton.
Okay, he's in the NFL.
But that first day I watched him, I'm like, why is that guy on the bench? What? The reason he's on the bench is because he's playing behind the best linebacker in the conference. But
yeah, the defensive player of the year.
You could see it. That was the same thing with Cole Taylor last year. Neil Daly gets hurt against Oregon, so then you're watching. You're like, okay, Daly's out. Oregon's going to attack this. Cats are screwed. Taylor's just downhill. He looked like a guy that could play for Oregon during that game.
He was a quarterback in high school, right? At Great Falls?
Yeah, Great Falls CMR, for sure.
Wow. Okay, so we got the top 15 locked in.
Very good. Love it.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up. Oh, yeah.
In the heart of Montana's untamed wilderness, a legend is brewing. Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, the official beer of the Big Sky Conference. Brewed with the rugged spirit of the West. Jeremiah Johnson is simply a world-class, straightforward, no-nonsense beer. Do well.
Is a will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Thanks to our great friends at Jeremiah Johnson Brewing. They're the official beer of the Big Sky Conference and proud to present a bunch of our different conversations all football season long. Okay, so next I think that we have to consider maybe another one of those quarterbacks, or maybe a guy that's from outside of the state of Montana, or maybe then you just slot the guy who has the best talent in the league. I mean, I think Braden Zimmer is the most next level talent in the Big Sky. I think he's going to be a guy that's, but he hasn't been all conference yet. I mean, he was a freshman All-American, but he was not all conference a year ago. I wrote a story about him that is live right now, SkylineSportsMT.com, just about his journey from a 223-pound high school kid to a 296-pound offensive tackle. Yeah. Took him only 24 months to put on that weight, which is just nuts to think
I'm honestly
about.
not ready to put another one of the quarterbacks on there, man. I don't think they're –
okay.
I think they're more between 20 and 25. I mean, we don't have to wait that long. We may not have to wait that long, but I don't think they're here. I don't think they're 16, 17, 18.
Well, so then, but do you feel comfortable ranking Zimmer over guys that have more accomplishments? Because Zaire Collier from UC Davis and Jack Zeibel from Northern Colorado were both all-conference guys a year ago. Collier's an offensive lineman, and Zeibel's the center. He's probably the best returning center in the conference.
I don't, to be fair, that's a good question because I don't feel comfortable putting him above Jack Zeibel.
Okay, let's put Jack Zeibel next then. The Northern
Colorado Collier, players. I do feel comfortable putting him above Collier.
Okay.
I'll be real.
Sell me on Zeibel. I'm not as familiar with him.
My thing is UC Davis was not good last year, or not UC Davis. Northern Colorado was not good last year. Offensively, they were good. Their run game was not good last year. They pass protected way better than they ran block. And I think a big piece of that was Jack Zeibel. And if you look at the PFF grades throughout the season and early on in the season, Jack Zeibel actually maintained a pretty decent PFF grade throughout the season. I know you're very high on Titan Fleischman. If I'm not mistaken, I can go back and check my notes on this. I believe Jack Zeibel finished the season with a better PFF grade than Titan Fleischman. So, and obviously it's a numbers game. PFF is not the end-all, be-all. That shouldn't hold all the weight for when you evaluate players. You obviously should turn on the film. You should actually watch them and see them in person. But based on the numbers and how they do their mathematics and things with PFF, Jack Zeibel by the numbers, the PFF grades, was considered a better player than Titan Fleischman. And I just think he, on a team that doesn't get a lot of attention, it's certainly offensive linemen shouldn't get a ton of attention. I think Jack Zeibel is a bright spot in Northern Colorado.
He is. He started for 25 straight games. He's about to be a 4-year starter, broken in the starting lineup with about 4 games to go in his freshman year. I think that bodes really well as a center as well. So I'm good with it. I'm good with putting Zeibel right there at 16.
So does that mean we're doing back-to-back linemen then? Does that mean Collier is next, or
Well, so then it's a question.
Or Zimmer. No, it has to be Zimmer next, right?
Zimmer, Collier, or Cruz. Those are the 3 that I would say got to be next.
Man, here this becomes because correct me if I'm wrong, Cruz was not an all-conference guy as well last year, was he?
Cruz was not an all-conference guy, but part of that was because Montana State had 4 all-conference defensive linemen.
They had a ton of guys.
He was their leader in sacks. Second leading sack guy behind Kenneth Iden. He's the returning sack guy in the league. He had 10 tackles for loss a year ago. He's got good career statistics. He appeared on Bruce Feldman's
freaks list.
Top freaks list in all of college football.
I feel like you keep wanting to throw Zimmer on there, and I'm with you, but you keep convincing me why players should be above him because now I feel Cruz should be above him.
I'm totally fine with bumping Zimmer down too, though, because again, he's going to be the number 1 portal player, number 1 portal offensive lineman in the country this next year. But that's based on his potential as much, if not more, than his accomplishments, right?
Yes.
I mean, still at this exact moment, he still only started 15 college football games in his whole life.
Did he start the season? Yeah, 16 games.
Yeah, he started against Oregon, and he had to go against that man freak, Mateo. I can't remember his
Washington
last name.
Or something?
Against Oregon.
Yeah. I'm saying the guy's last name is like Washington or something like that.
Oh, Mateo starts with a U. He's Oregon's big stand-up defensive end. He's like 6'6", 275 pounds. He's
Mateo Uyungale.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So
he
pronounced
might be DJ Uyungale's brother, maybe.
I think that is exactly who he is.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I think Zimmer and Cruz, it's okay for them to keep on sliding a little bit, just because I think that by the end of the year they're going to be certainly both in the top 20 on this list and all conference type of guys if things go their way. But we have to, I think, give a nod to accomplishments for the here and now.
Yes.
So I'm sort of leaning towards either Jordan Cook or Josh Wood or Isaiah Perez for Eastern Washington. I think those are the 3 guys that are
at 17.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to put this name back in your stratosphere because I feel like, once again, he's another guy who's sliding. Jordan Fisher was an 11-yard rushing running back last year and had more rushing yards than Adam Jones last year. Also had Jordan Fisher had 287 receiving last year. Adam Jones, where do we have Adam Jones at? Adam Jones had 301. So Adam Jones barely had more receiving yards than Jordan Fisher. Jordan Fisher had more rushing yards than him. I mean, when do we start to have the Jordan Fisher conversation?
I think right now. I think I put him on there. I think he's,
at 17.
Yeah, I think he's next.
Okay. Because I keep wanting to make sure we're not forgetting about anybody, and then I think about Jordan Fisher, and I'm like, man, this guy's an 1,100-yard running back. Like, where is he going to be fit? Do you think, to go back and make sure we're not missing, do you think Jordan Fisher deserves to be above anybody that we've put above him? I don't. Looking at it, I don't. I think we got him right where he's supposed to be.
I do not as well.
Okay. I was really just looking at like a Peyton Wing, a Ty Pennington, a Cole Taylor, a Jack Zeibel, those last 3 or 4 picks. But I honestly like him there. Okay, next, I feel like you brought up the quarterback conversation, and you also brought up Isaiah Perez conversation. I don't know. I think Isaiah Perez is top 25. He might be, to me, on the lower end of the top 25. You can let me know your thoughts about that.
Here's the argument I'd make for Perez. He would start for both the Cats and the Grizz.
Absolutely. He'd start on any team in the conference. He started on any team in the country.
I think he started at almost every school in the country because he's that rare, like he's the guy that he's the 285-pound 3-tech. He can play the nose, but also off shade and stuff too. He's athletic. But I also could totally see Jordan Cook going right here, just because I think that if Idaho State's going to be a playoff team, it's going to be on Jordan Cook.
Yeah, but we can't base it on if. That's why Zimmer has slid.
Yeah,
We can't base it on if. What have they done? So that's why Jordan Cook and Joshua Wood, I'm not so quick to add them right now. I like your Isaiah Perez point. You make a great point. He would start on any team in the country. It's certainly any team in the Montanas and any team in the Big Sky Conference. I'm not mad at it if we put Isaiah Perez at 18. I like that pick, actually.
And I bet there'd be people that follow the Cats that are going to say he wouldn't because Josiah Asuega is the next one and the realest one. But we can't have – I mean, Josiah Asuega's never played in a college football game.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah, right. Be that as it may. He may be, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. But he's a sweet talent. I'm excited for him.
So are we going Isaiah Perez at 18?
Yeah, let's go Isaiah Perez at 18.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, we're getting down to those final 5, 6, 7 picks. I think we got 7 left, 19, 20. Yeah, we got 7 left. So the list is getting tight. We still got a lot of talent on here. But who do you like next? I think Zimmer can. I think because I'm not. I don't care about necessarily putting Zimmer over the quarterbacks. I think it's fine if we put Zimmer over Wood and Cook. You know, based on what he's done, his impact. Also, you got to think about impact. Although he's only a freshman, only had 1 season, he was a starting left tackle for the national championship Montana State Bobcats. Even though he wasn't voted All-Conference, he wasn't All-American. Those things matter.
Yes.
I think Zimmer at 19, 20, somewhere around here in these next couple of picks is a fair. Is there anybody else you want to look at 19 or 20 outside of the quarterbacks?
I think it's Zimmer.
Okay.
But then I think you got to have Jordan Cook next because I think that Cook has to just be a top 20 guy. I mean, just because of the way he throws it and like what they're going to do with him and you know his story, his journey, you know all the stuff that he's gone through and
I can get behind that.
I mean, you talked with Cody Hawkins about this, like what kid in this day and age will come in and play and then redshirt? Not because you're hurt,
and not
because
leave.
you want to learn, and you don't leave, and you just trust your coach to do that and get better.
Nobody's
like no one. That is like a one-of-one story for quarterbacks in D1 college football right now. So I think that this kid deserves a ton of respect.
Absolutely. So our top 20 is locked in. Jordan Cook's at number 20, Braden Zimmer at 19. We're getting down to those last picks. Go ahead.
So now for 21, are we going Josh Wood or Zach Cruz? I think those are the next two.
I like Zach Cruz at 21.
Okay. I like Cruz there too. I think Cruz has a chance to have a monster year.
These are tough too because doing these rankings are so tough because you get into this position where guys start to slide. This is what I did. This is what happened to me when I did my top 25 players in FCS. It's like guys start to slide, and it's like he could be here, but also we got this guy, and it's like you get into a tough position. But I like Zach Cruz at 21. Man. Now I start to look back and I just want to check our work and make sure, is there anybody above Zach Cruz because to be fair, what I was saying earlier is I would have put Zach Cruz above Braden Zimmer. But if we put Zach Cruz above Braden Zimmer now, that slides Jordan Cook out of the top 20.
Right. Yeah.
So do we put Zach Cruz where Braden Zimmer is and drop Braden Zimmer to 21?
I think you do, honestly, just because I think that Cruz just has a more in-depth body of work.
Yes.
And I think that even Zimmer would tell you that. First of all, I think that Zimmer would tell you that one of the huge reasons he's good is because he goes against Zach Cruz all the time.
Yes.
And I also think that if you were to talk about the hierarchy of the team, I think that Cruz being a senior, 5th-year senior. Zimmer only being a sophomore, like Cruz is just going to be one of those alpha guys that I'm talking about. He's just going to be one of the dudes.
Yes.
On the Cats for sure.
So Zach Cruz at 19, Jordan Cook at 20, Braden Zimmer's now at 21.
Okay.
I think Zimmer as a freshman coming into a sophomore, being top 25 in the conference is good, man.
It's so good.
That's so good.
When I was approached by a group of men, really right out of our national championship appearance, I think they saw NIL as an opportunity to continue to allow our program to grow. And it was very well thought out of. At the time, they didn't just come up with this on a whim. I think they studied other institutions across the country at all levels to be able to do it right, to be able to implement it the right way, align themselves ultimately with Blueprint after talking, I think, with several outside entities on how it should be managed. All our intentions with the Bobcat Collective are in the right place, and that's the most important thing. They're about continuing to promote our program, allowing our guys opportunities to help along with that. I think that's really important. It really, I think, has provided this give and take. Our guys are certainly benefiting from it, but then they're giving back at the same time, whether it's individual opportunities with particular businesses or just in general giving back through the collective to our community.
Town & Country Foods is proud of its tradition of providing excellent customer service and quality groceries at an affordable price. Town & Country Foods is proud to be locally owned and operated across the state of Montana, and they are proud to support Montana State Athletics. Town & Country Foods is 100% employee-owned, and they have 9 locations serving towns throughout Montana. Town & Country Foods is in Bozeman, Belgrade, Helena, Livingston, Lewistown, Billings, and in Dillon. Their focus is on great food at a great price with a huge selection of organic and natural foods. For more information, visit tncfoods.com. Okay, Zaire Collier or Josh Wood next?
I like Collier. What do you think?
I think so too. And then I think that rounds out our well, unless Porter Connors can make his way onto this, but I think that rounds out our UC Davis guys. And then do you think Josh Wood is next?
I think I can get behind Josh Wood at 23. I think Josh Wood is a top 25 talent in the Big Sky Conference. Do I think he's had top 25 numbers? No. But we are judging these guys off of what we have seen. That's what we were talking about with Zach Cruz and the impact and all those things. We've seen the talent from Joshua Wood. We know what he's capable of. Can he put it fully together? I wouldn't be mad at I can get behind Joshua Wood at 23. I can get behind that.
Okay. And I mean, again, he's got to put it all together, but they also have to help him.
Yes.
But I do think that he's a guy that keeps Idaho in games.
Yeah.
So we got 2 spots left, and I think that there's
a lot of places we can go.
I think there's I had my honorable mentions as Shadon James from Idaho State, Taden Gray from Montana State, Drew Cofield from UC Davis, and Jeter Purdy from Northern Arizona. Now, you also mentioned Bronson Childs from Idaho State. I don't think any of those guys that I just named besides Taden Gray should be in discussion for these last 2 spots. But I do think it's Taden Gray, Porter Connors from UC Davis, Kenny Olson from Cal Poly, and Brooks Davis from Montana. I think Brooks Davis should be 25th. I just think he's 25th.
Yeah.
And so then I think we'd have to debate between for who's 24th, Kenny Olson, Porter Connors, or Taden Gray.
I want to pull up the Kenny Olson numbers because I know they're good. I just want to know how good. So give me a second to look at Kenny Olson's numbers. Okay. In 2025, he had a total of 117 tackles. That's more than Cole Taylor. He had 55 solo. He had 6 TFLs. He had 2 sacks. He had no interceptions, 7 QB hurries, 2 pass breakups. But, I mean, the 117 tackles and 6 TFLs, that rivals what we saw from, why am I going blank right now? Cole Taylor. Those numbers definitely rival Cole Taylor's numbers.
But the one thing I would always remind people is that there's a lot more tackles to be had when you're not a very good team.
Fair.
And there's a lot more tackles to be had when they don't have a lot of good players on your defense.
Fair.
Like I think Montana State's defensive tackle statistics are always going to be skewed because, one, they hand them out conservatively compared to a lot of other schools in the conference because they're very old school, but also because if you're Cole Taylor, you're sharing tackles with, so many guys, right?
Caden Dowler, Bryce Grebe.
Neil Daly, Taden Gray,
the
corners are good tacklers. So Montana State had like 3 corners that had 50, 60 tackles last year because they were so good at tackling one-on-one and in space.
Yes.
So there's just not a ton of tackles to be had. Whereas at Cal Poly, D'Amato and Olson are making the tackle like 2/3 of the time. That said, I think Olson's very good.
What about Drew Cofield? Second team all-conference guy, a freshman All-American.
Yep. So, okay, let's have that discussion. Taden Gray or Drew Cofield? Because Taden Gray is the best nickel in the conference, and that's a definitive position.
Yes.
But I think Drew Cofield has the best resume amongst any returning defensive player or defensive back in the conference besides, obviously, Caden Dowler. And I'd probably Jalen Jenkins too, but which one are you taking between Taden Gray and Drew Cofield?
Man. Tatum Gray, Drew Cofield. Was Tatum Gray an all-conference guy?
He was a second-team all-conference guy. He's on the preseason all-conference team.
Yeah.
I also think that the nickel is a very important spot in a.
In 1959, at Street's Grocery in Whitefish, Montana's special spice was born. Alpine Touch. It's the taste you grew up with, well seasoned through the test of time. As the tradition carries from one Montana generation to the next. From its humble beginnings to a trusted brand, here's to the next 60 years. Alpine Touch. Montana's special spice since 1959.
Cash One Pawn, Missoula's #1 pawn shop.
You want money? We got money. You need money? We got money. We're cash.
Do yourself a favor and make Cash One Pawn part of your online shopping habits. Cash One Pawn has an awesome online inventory, everything from firearms to power tools to speaker equipment to jewelry. Visit Cash One Pawn today.
Cash One Pawn.
8720 Roller Coaster Road, CashOnePawn.com.
When the stakes are high and it's win or go home, you need a team you can trust. That's why Holloway & Hulling is a proud partner of Grizzly Athletics.
Whether you're facing criminal charges, navigating a family law matter, or you've been injured in an accident, our team is here to fight for your rights.
With 9 attorneys and offices both here in Missoula and in Bozeman, we have you covered across western Montana.
Voted Best of Missoula in 2025, we have a proven record of dedication to our clients.
So choose the right team. Choose Montana Grizzlies. Choose Holloway & Hulling.
Yeah, I mean, and especially in the 4-2-5, like the Gus Bradley 4-2-5 that Montana State runs, that nickel needs to be able to go against Michael Wortham, but it also needs to be able to come up in the box and hit people. I mean, it's just a really important spot. But also being able to play on the outside and play on the perimeter and play on an island and all that stuff like Cofield does is also very important. So I don't know. I'll defer to you on this.
I like Tatum Gray. I think playing the nickel is a little tougher than playing outside corner. Also, I don't know. I'm not necessarily blown away. I think Drew Cofield has good numbers. They don't necessarily blow me away. 36 total tackles, 31 solo, 2 TFLs, 2 INTs, 11 PBUs. I mean, those are very good numbers, especially for a freshman out there. Those are great numbers. But I just know how important that nickel position is to play. So I would definitely give Tatum Gray, especially considering they were both second-team all-conference guys, I would give Tatum Gray the nod there. And then I won't argue with the Brooks Davis at 25 pick, but, I think there's a lot of guys that could get that 25th pick. Porter Connors is certainly there. Dason Brooks is still on there. I mean, there's some guys, but I won't fight you on being Brooks.
I think Davis is so immensely talented. I might have a proximity bias because I've just been watching him just roast the Grizz DBs all camp long. I just think he has. Oh, but he's gonna.
Yeah, he's at a really
I think he
good
has a
camp.
chance to have an enormous year. I think if things go his way, he's gonna be 1,000+
yeah.
receiver, All-American type of guy.
Looking at Brooks Davis, he looks like he understands that he's the guy now, and he understands that he's supposed to make all the plays, and he has to make all the plays.
Yeah, because when he first came in, he's such a cheerful, nice young man, but you could tell he was still kind of trying to figure out where do I stand in the hierarchy of this program, and also in the league. And then he kept getting more confident.
Yeah,
but now I agree. The way he's carrying himself, you're this dude knows he's the dude.
You're that boy.
He knows he's the man. And he's ready to be the man, which is cool. It's cool to see, man. It's cool to see guys grow up like that.
Yeah. For sure.
Very good. So we'll print our notes as a print story on Skyline Sports, but also we will have this podcast and video up as soon as possible as well. And let us know. Drop some comments. Debate us. Tell us where we're right. Tell us where we're wrong. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in. We also appreciate our fine sponsors, including Cash One Pawn. Cash One Pawn, the premier pawn shop in western Montana. Cash One Pawn has an unbelievable selection of firearms. Hunting season right around the corner, so if you need anything from a shotgun to a rifle, check out Cash One Pawn there, right off of Roller Coaster Road, just short of the Y in Missoula. Cash One Pawn, the premier pawn shop in western Montana. Anything else to add before I get you out of here?
No, man. This is just getting me more excited. And earlier when we were doing Inside the FCS, you mentioned that next week is game prep week, and I didn't even think about that. But, yeah, we'll be talking about opponents next week. This is
Love
exciting,
well,
man. Let's
keep
go.
Subscribe here to our channel. Subscribe to the Samuel Akem Show. Tune into the Samuel Akem Show at 6 a.m. every weekday. And as always, we appreciate everybody for following along. Skyline Sports, SkylineSportsMT.com, Skyline Sports every day, every season. Thanks for doing it, man.
Yes, sir.